Hello.
Hello, everybody.
Can you talk about just how the team's progress is coming? You know, we haven't seen you in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, I think we are progressing. There's been some improvement in each category, with still a lot more improvement expected. We're working on some very specific things, and some of the improvement has to be mental. You know, most people think it's all about the physical effort, which nothing works without a great physical effort. But if you're giving a physical effort but not doing the right things, then you don't improve. Or you don't improve as much as you would if you were doing the right things. So today at our team meeting, we'll be talking about team defense. And we'll be talking very specifically about the importance of defending elbows and blocks. Does everybody know where the elbows are and the blocks are? Well, the way we will describe it to our players is with a colander or strainer. And I'll take a glass of water and show them when there's holes in the defense, the water will pour right through the colander. Yet, if you put solid objects in there, and I'll have cups that fit into the colander, if you pour the water, they go into the solid objects, meaning the water can't penetrate. And that's basically what we want to explain to our players, is when there's holes in our defense, people are going to get by, they're going to penetrate, and we don't want them to penetrate. We've got to prevent penetration. So we've got to put more bodies in there. So we have guys who are playing hard, but maybe not being in the right spot, or they get to the right spot, but it's a little too late. So that'll be a real point of emphasis. It has been, but now we have several weeks of practice to show them video of what it looks like when we don't do it correctly. And then on offense, it's the reverse. We want to penetrate the defense, but once we penetrate it, we want to make a good decision whether we should shoot or pass. And right now, we are passing, which is good, but not to the right guy. We're trying to penetrate, which draws the defense in, and then kick it in. The whole idea of penetrating is to draw the defense in so you can kick it out for an open three. And because we're a very good three-point shooting team, or I believe we can be, we need to do a better job of that. And we have a drill that's very specifically designed to create that opportunity for you to penetrate and pitch. The drill is called the UCLA drill, and it comes from Jim Larrañaga, who was once the coach at UCLA, and they won the national championship back in 90-something. You can look that up. And they used it as a warm-up before they played games, just to get their players ready to penetrate and pitch to each other, which they did very, very well.
Where'd you get the colander idea?
It's actually something we've done every few years. It's not something I do every year because the same guys are hearing it. Doesn't have that surprise effect.
You brought the colander out before?
What?
Did the colander come out before in the last couple of years here?
I think it did my first year. I'm almost certain it might have come out year one and year two.
So it's just visualizing. You like to help them just look at something in a visual way?
Well, everybody understands what a hole is, and when you tell someone to clog up the hole, a lot of times a player will think he's doing it. You know, I was there, I was at the elbow. The guy went right past you. You know, by showing them with the colander of like, first the water pours through easily, and then it can't get through, the whole idea is, the whole game of basketball is about penetrating. You know, in fact, most battles are won through penetration. All right? You get inside. In football, you can knock the team back off the line of scrimmage and get into their territory. You're successful. In basketball, there's 4 ways you can penetrate the defense, and all 4 are really bad for the defense. 1, there's dribble penetration. 2, there's cutting penetration. You beat your man without the ball. You get closer to the basket than he is, you're trailing him, the guy catches and just lays it in. The 3rd is passing penetration, which means you throw it to, let's say, a post player who is already inside of the defense naturally, and the other team doesn't want you to throw it to the post man. They're trying to deny it, but you throw it in there anyway, and you get it close to the basket. Now that post man either scores or draws a lot of help and kicks it out for an easy shot. And the 4th way to penetrate is through offensive rebounding. You get a shot, and your offensive matchup gets inside of you to get an offensive rebound and either scores or gets another possession for his team. So those are the 4 things you want to do on offense and the 4 things you want to prevent on defense.
Are you concerned about Angel's sort of neck, or he kind of gets injured? He plays injured a lot and has really for years. Is that, I mean, as someone who...
Well, I would tell you that last year I was very concerned about Garius Adams because of the number of injuries he had sustained throughout his career, and actually being told by our trainer not to expect to have him for more than even half the practices and kind of save him for games, and don't expect him to be available for all the games either. And he was the one guy on the team, I think, started every game, played every game, and was not injured the whole season. So I don't think you can have a crystal ball, look into it, and figure out who's going to get hurt and who's not.
For the exhibition game, how do you plan on allocating your minutes? Do you plan on playing a bunch of guys, or do you think it'll be similar to how you open up?
No, we are planning to play 10 guys, and we will probably platoon them, at least initially.
Devon, did you plan on playing him? Or?
Yes. Yvonne, because this game is not on our record, he can participate. And we want to give him some minutes. He won't play as much as some other players just because we need to get ready for our opening game. But I do want to give him some minutes so he's not totally new to playing in front of a crowd. Well, I don't know about crowd. You know, in our arena, I should say.
Is Angel game ready right now or not yet?
Well, I would say he's still a little rusty. He's a little bit anxious right now, but he's also playing very hard. So I think it's just a matter of getting some game minutes under his belt to help him relax and become the confident and skilled player that he knows he's capable of being.
I think that the tendency when you look at your roster and people talk about being a perimeter-oriented team, people have a tendency maybe to think more of offense. But does this fit the kind of defense that you want to play also? Because you got more quickness out there, I guess.
Well, there was a discussion the other day about if teams want to play fast, how hard they should push it. And then my thought is completely it's based on your defense. Because you run off of there's only 3 ways to get the basketball. 1, you force a turnover. 2, you get a rebound, a defensive rebound. Or 3, the ball goes in the basket, either field goal or free throw. So the first 2 are good for the defense. Force a turnover. A lot of times if it's a steal, that's a great fast break opportunity. Second, something that happens more regularly is rebounding. And we want to be a very good defensive rebounding team because we want to run. In order to create the tempo that we're looking for, it will be about our defense, our man-to-man defense and our scramble defense.
Is Tanya good at getting the ball out quick on the defensive end?
I would say he's good at it, yes.
You talk about, we talked a few weeks ago, just the decision with James Palmer and Omar there for that fourth start or the fifth spot, I guess. But playing the four, how's that coming along? Is it, you think it'll be a work in progress in determining?
Oh, it'll definitely be it will really be based on what the coaches see during the games as far as matchups. How can we defend properly, and how can we attack their defenses properly? So, for example, if we're playing against man-to-man, I think James can play the 3 or the 4. Omar can play the 4 or the 5. When we face zone, a guy like Joe Thomas is someone who has to have a very specific role against zones, because he and Tanya are probably the only 2 guys on the team that don't shoot threes. So if we want to have a potent 3-point attack against the zone, James will probably get the nod at the 4 spot.
Is everyone else pretty healthy?
We're healthy right now today.
And how eager are you to finally get out there? I mean, you got to do it in Spain a little bit, to be home and really kind of get the season kicked off.
I'd like about another 6 months of practice, but the players are, I think, ready to play a game. And I think they want to get out there, they want to compete. The coaches want to see them against outside competition. We need to do a really, really good job of playing as a unit. Sometimes it's very hard early in the season to get everybody on the same page. It was almost impossible last year because everybody had such a new role. This year it's a little less challenging because so many guys have natural positions on the court. Angel and Manu, Jaquan Newton, they're all very natural point guards. The really good part is they also can play the 2. DeAndre Burnett is a very natural 2 guard. Sheldon McClellan is a natural 3-man. James Palmer is a natural 3. Omar, natural 4 or 5. And Joe Thomas is really a natural 4-man. And based on what I'm seeing now, really hoping he's able to provide us some of the things that Eric Swope did late in the season last year.
You were saying a couple weeks ago that he could really be kind of a secret weapon. I mean, can you just talk about how he kind of showed up here, fell out of the sky onto your tryouts, and what you think he can really provide?
Well, I think my staff are great recruiters, but not a single one of them had ever heard of Joe Thomas. It was Angel Rodriguez that brought him to our attention. And with 4 days left before summer school began, we were able to offer Joe a scholarship because he happened to be here in Miami. Took an unofficial visit the week before, kind of hung out to see, hey, what am I going to do with my life? I have a 1 year of eligibility. Do I want to go back and get my master's degree? And if so, where? And it was almost, I would guess, a decision based on convenience for both of us. It was great to have a local kid on our team, and great opportunity for him to play in the ACC for a year in Miami, his hometown.
Did you not expect, even so at that point, what were you expecting from him? Or did you think of him more as a practice guy, or is he doing more than you thought he could do?
Well, I would say he's an absolutely great kid, fits in wonderfully with our team, and is going to have a very important role.
How did you look at the prediction for 10th in the league? I know this is getting ahead of the game, but But what does that do? I mean, somebody pointed out and said, well, you know, that with this league, that you don't know how many teams can make it to the NCAA. It'd be a lot. So does that kind of add a little something to the non-conference success of the non-conference?
To us, everybody looks at their schedules. You've got a league schedule and a non-conference schedule. We believe you're better off looking at it as it's one schedule and you've got to produce throughout. Because it's not what you do in your league, it's not what you do in the non-league, it's what you do in your body of work. So if you're playing 30 games and you only do well early but not late, or only late and not early, you're not as good a candidate as someone who's played well throughout. And we want to play really well in the non-conference, which we hope will prepare us for the most challenging part of our schedule, which is conference play. But we need to do very well in non-conference this year.
We don't ask much about Jaquan, I guess. Just how's his progress been with this adjustment here?
Love him. I think he's doing great. You know, we have very strong guard play right now. Angel, Manu, and Sheldon are terrific. They were here last year practicing every day. The next group, Jaquan, DeAndre, and James, this is really their first go-around. They're terrific as well. Jaquan is going to play substantial minutes.